We're back. Round 3. Very exciting round 2.
Yeah. Down to the wire. I've got a goal for this round.
Is it to get down to the last minute and a half?
It's to not do that exact thing.
Huh. Well, this looks like a pretty good starter.
So you want to just play turn 3 Wingsteed, turn 4 Chosen into Titan Strength into Tacky Vermilion?
That's the plan, I think.
Alright.
The Wingsteed Rider brings us flavor text that gives you a good trivia question, which is, what is the only type of bridle that a Pegasus will accept?
Oh.
Trust. Trust is the answer. Oh, Painseer.
Oh my gosh, dude, that's totally like Dark Confidant. It's totally the same card.
I think we're probably the first people to discuss that. Yeah, it's like almost.
I'm the first person.
Yeah.
To say that.
Maybe he's playing a whole bunch of like 9-drops.
He's gonna go triple Springleaf Drum turn 3. I will say that he gets to attack in with that and then draw a card.
It's true. I mean, we could have played something like a Laguna Band Elder and just like offered a trade, but maybe that's better. I might just play the Akron Phalanx next turn.
Yeah. Oh.
Well. Is correct. Well, we're definitely not blocking.
I agree.
Yep. So.
Chosen by Heliod Pass?
Well,
and Snarecaster.
I mean, I think.
Chosen Snarecaster Pass? Ew.
It's not
Actually,
good.
just Chosen. No, that only makes it a 3.
3/5. I mean, you also get to draw a card, but.
Well, I would Chosen over Phalanx.
Yeah, well, it doesn't do anything now. And 2. Ooh.
Oh. Do it.
So we're just gonna pass here.
Do it.
And dare you to attack. Prevent the next 3 damage.
We don't even have to send it back at that guy? Okay,
We do. Yeah, we do.
Yeah, we do.
And he drew a swing.
Oh. Jeez, some people.
Luck sack. What are the odds of that? Approximately 50%? Luck sack.
42.
Luck sack. Ooh. 3. Well, it's for 3. We're not going to show an Acolyte's reward. I guess a Snarecaster.
Laguna Evangel?
Yeah, I think that's got to be what it is. Because I think we would rather have this than the Evangel.
I think Phalanx and obviously Reward are most important.
I agree with that assessment.
The only problem with showing the Snarecaster is he sees that we've left up 2 mana for something.
That's true.
Actually, that might have been a reason to show the Phalanx.
Well, let's see if Spoolinator figures that out.
Oh man, that's yeah. Ah, we should have thought about that. Oh, or maybe we don't care.
Do we just put this on and start pounding?
Yeah, because
I mean, this is not going to do it. He'll deal 3 damage to something, but
who cares?
We'll get in for 4, 5. And then I guess play Snarecaster.
We'll hit for 5, go to 27, and
race it up. Just play a Snarecaster, because why not?
Well,
or I guess you hold up Acolyte's Reward. I mean, there's no point of holding that up at that point, because you're...
No. Oh, and his Ordeal doesn't trigger, so yeah.
What do you mean?
It doesn't go off, I mean.
Not next turn.
Yeah.
So...
I would do it.
Get the races on. The race is on. He's on a 4-turn clock. Answer Wingsting Rider in the next... Plus, he's actually going to take damage from this if he swings. At some point, this guy actually becomes a liability.
Yep. And we may have reached the point when a Wingsting Rider is bashing you for 5 a turn.
So I think we just run this guy out there. I mean, there's nothing that's going to do 7 damage, so...
Or is there?
Well, we probably don't want to tap it and give him a card, though. Or do we?
That's not a May, is it? That's a...
No,
yeah.
you have to.
Wow, that's a good question.
I did not expect to have that question until right now. And then I was like, oh yeah. I don't think you want to give him the
I
free card.
think because he has enough turns, and the Wingsteed Rider's a 3-turn clock.
Yeah,
I don't think that increases the clock.
I don't think you want to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, it would have to be a 5-drop or more to increase the clock.
Right.
No, you may keep it untapped. That is interesting. I guess if you were down to like 2 or 3, you'd tap him and be like, "Good luck, buddy."
That'd be a funny interaction.
How did you lose? He snarecastered my Painseer. Made me
got there.
Made me hit Inspired.
All right.
What do you feel about Spiteful Returned? I think it's probably pretty good.
I like it, actually.
I think it's pretty good, actually.
Especially in a black-red or black-white aggressive deck.
So now it does trigger.
What?
Because of the extra +1/+1 counter.
I didn't put a +1 on it.
Yeah, it does. No?
It makes it +1.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, okay.
We can't jump.
You think jumping is the correct play?
I mean, if he attacks with it next turn, it just shoots it anyway. Or we could play the Phalanx and he can only shoot 1, but...
Yeah, or you have Acolyte's Reward.
That's actually, you're right.
I think you just take... I mean, we're at 25, so... I mean, the Ordeal will trigger next turn, though.
Yeah. So, yeah, actually...
I guess that's not a great play. Well, we don't want to play that right now, because we want him to shoot this.
Yeah.
And we don't have this up. But it does deal 3, which means... I mean, we still could play...
We can also sip our Rider.
That's true. I mean, that's for sure true. I mean, there's nothing we can do about that.
No.
The other thing is when the Ordeal triggers and he shoots here, I mean, you could use the Acolyte's Reward
to shoot
it back.
Would it do?
Well, you would shoot 3. Actually, you would shoot 4 or 3. No, you shoot 3 back, and oh no, you'd be a 6/6.
No, wait. Click on Acolyte's Reward, or bring it up. Prevent the next X damage that would be dealt to target creature.
It would be 3 because of the Ordeal.
Well, but that's a good question. If he attacks and you do the Acolyte's Reward and the Ordeal triggers and then you block later, does it still count? Because it says the next X damage. Or does it all resolve on the one trigger? You know what I'm saying?
I do know what you're saying.
Either way, I think that you attack with Wingsteed and just block with... and do the Acolyte's Reward. Because that's a what? A 5/5? What is
Well, it's going to be a 6/6.
A 6/6?
So...
so that actually does matter.
It does matter.
Jeez. I guess no time to find out like right now.
Next X damage that would be able to target creature this turn.
That's how it reads to me.
That seems like it
But
would
that's
go.
one of those like weird magic structured stack things that you have to be a fucking professor to know how it resolves. I would just go for it and see, because there's no time to find out like right now.
I think you're right, and he has to attack before that triggers, so we can still block it off. Let's see what happens. It reads like it should be the next 4 damage.
I agree.
Our guy will still die.
Okay.
The other thing you could do is, it is 4, you could shoot right back, and I guess you don't actually make your clock better unless you draw a
heroic trigger.
A heroic trigger. Alright, let's see what happens. Oh, he's got a draw.
Oh, yeah. So,
Thoughtseize.
Blah. God, you gotta be... Well, that is... No.
We did pass that. He casts it deals him 2 damage.
Yeah, that doesn't change the clock. What is that?
Intimidate.
Oh, alright. Is he gonna Thoughtseize?
We're about to find out. I mean, if you were gonna Thoughtseize, you'd probably do that before you casted something, I would think.
Oh, he's going to combat?
So...
it doesn't do anything. Well, if he... No, he'll target... Will he target us with the ordeal?
We're about to find out.
Target a guy. Come on. Come on.
Target Wingsteed Rider. No, targeting me.
Yeah.
Okay.
God.
So...
Didn't even need Thoughtseize. He's Soul Read us. Like that guy's got Acolyte's Reward.
Alright, so we take a lot.
Intimidate's pretty rough.
Yeah. We are not dead, though. Is he gonna cast Thoughtseize? Blood Toll Heartbeat.
Ooh.
It does block our guy.
It really does. Does God's Willing win us the game? No. Shoot.
An Acolyte's Reward, saving 1 life here doesn't seem to do much.
Oh, it doesn't do anything. You can't play it.
Oh, loses 1 life, right? Alright. That's not exactly what I wanted to draw.
What is his pain seer at? 6/6?
6/6. Intimidate.
Yeah.
And when he swings, he deals 2. So he's lethal.
Oh. So we lose.
It does appear that way.
I mean, we just lose, right? There's nothing we can play.
It does appear that way. He does have to untap.
Okay.
So he's got to draw a card.
Okay.
So if we can get him down to something that makes him lose to what he draws, we could win.
Okay.
That's our only out, I think.
Okay. So attack.
And we might have to play an Acolyte's Reward and swing it back to his face. Like,
Well, no, we do, and he takes 2, and he has to have a 6 draw, which is unlikely.
we attack with both.
Sure.
Maybe he doesn't block this. But he clearly does.
Now this player has played pretty wisely so far.
Yeah. So
Yep.
you prevent the next 2.
Yep. Shoot him.
Shoot him.
And he draws a 6 drop, and that's our only out.
That's not a great. But it is an out. I mean, you show him Acolyte's Reward, which maybe
Whatever.
you shouldn't do, but...
I always prefer playing to a possible win over showing opponent information.
Yeah, I agree. Alright.
People play 6 drops.
They do.
Sip a Hemlock 1 time. Let me get some Hemi. At least we only used 13 minutes in this game.
They were playing much quicker. You want to bring in the Excoriate?
Sure.
I mean, if he's going to be...
He's tapping with guys.
I mean, he's swinging away. Much like the movie Signs would tell you to do.
Do it!
Swinging away.
Do it!
Come on, 6 drop. Oh.
Come on.
Wah, wah. I still think, hey, you might as well play to your out, right? Like,
Yeah, of course.
I mean, he might
Of
have a
course.
6-drop in there. You very well could have a 6-drop in there. All right, show me more.
Show
Show me more cards.
What is that?
Enchanted creature has paid
Claim
2 and
abilities.
tap. Target player loses 2 life. I think that's a pretty janky card.
Yeah.
I mean, this is my opinion on this. Oh, Grey Merchant. All right, show me them all. Grey Merchant would have almost done it. All right, so he's very heavy black. That did not go very well.
Painseer was doing a pretty good Dark Confidant impression that game.
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't have been that amazing had he not, like, completely suited it up, and we had no way to deal with it, though.
And also top decked a land or Thoughtseize every time.
Yeah. Like,
how about a 0-1-0 for the converted cost?
I mean, I think it's a fine card. Like, I would definitely...
Oh, yeah, no, of course.
I think it is, but I'm just saying, like, I don't think it would have done so much work at that game if it weren't for the fact that he had the ordeals and everything to pump it up, like...
Yeah, we also didn't have much in the way of defense.
Yeah.
Which is a weakness of our deck. Our
It
deck
is.
isn't built to play defense.
Yeah.
I mean, really any deck, if you go turn 2 guy, turn 3 ordeal attack,
Yeah.
you're doing pretty well. We went turn 3 guy,
Yeah.
turn 4 ordeal attack, which is not as good.
It's not
Or
as...
turn 4 chosen
Yeah.
attack.
Yeah. Okay, what do we want to cite out for the Excoriate? Evangel? Or, I mean, that gives us chump blockers, but...
Yeah, but he has Intimidate, so... I mean, Evangel plays so well with Phalanx Leader.
Alright, well, let's keep Evangel.
What has been not so good for us?
Well, I mean, none of these guys haven't really come into play much. Spear Point's same thing. Although Spear Point's been okay, actually, when we've had to, like...
Spearpoint's been okay.
Yeah.
Maybe cut one Ill-Tempered Cyclops. I'm fine with that.
Alright, let's run it back and see what happens. So far, we will play first. And I think we should try to win. Turn 2 Phalanx Leader, turn 3 Wingsteed Rider, Acolyte's Reward. I mean, we got to draw some stuff. You say you need to aggressively mulligan these kind of aggro decks. I think you draw 1 land, 2 lands in the next, like, 3-4 turns. We're in pretty good shape. What do you think?
You can't mulligan this.
I did not think so either.
No. When you've got the colored lands for both Phalanx Leader, which we can play, and Wingsteed Rider, which we need any land for.
He's mulliganed to 6. I personally like to play the hope my opponent mulligans to 2 or 3 plan.
No.
Because even though
We won a game.
it's extremely embarrassing to lose when that happens. Alright, well, I think we just run out the Phalanx Leader anyway. What do you think? Snarecaster?
That's a good question.
I
No, because if we draw like a Chosen by Heliod off the top, we'd rather have Phalanx Leader, even though it doesn't pump other guys.
True.
We can also tap down his blocker.
That's true. Deal 1.
Painseer turn 2.
Nope, not this time. Mountain. So close.
Attack.
Yeah. I mean, and play Snarecaster.
Yep.
I will say, I don't usually draft this kind of aggro deck. I'm usually more of a control-y kind of person. It's hard for me to run 16 lands, like, for this very reason. But, I mean, I guess
but
you have to do that if you're running tons of 2 and 3 drops, like...
you play 17 and then you have 2 games where you flood and you're like, oh yeah, I'm doing an aggro deck, I should not be running 17. I mean,
Yeah.
it happens with every deck. It's just a part of Magic.
Yeah, that's true.
Hey.
Chosen up the Phalanx Leader swing? I mean, the Snarecaster trades with the Blood Toll, but I think that's okay.
Yeah. You know, we can see, we may not want to attack with Snarecaster.
That's true. And we got Acolyte's Reward if we draw nothing next turn. No lands. Hey! Look at that.
I would just attack Leader, honestly. Like, our guy hits for 3, his hits for 2.
Yeah. Alrighty.
Plus we're crippled. If we had played a 17th land,
I prefer the word disabled.
what would the card have been that we cited out?
I don't know.
Maybe a second excoriate.
What three
actually.
cards do we want to show? Spear Point 2 excoriates?
Sure.
I mean, I think we want to hold up a Laguna Band Elder. I mean, he's going to pick one of the excoriates, right?
I have to assume.
I would think so. I mean, it's not like I like to show excoriate, but... Oh, Spear Point. Interesting.
He believes in our ability to mount.
Apparently. More than I do.
Ooh.
Alright, so I swing with both, I guess? I mean, we can make this guy a 4-3.
If he double blocks...
I mean,
Whatever.
we also have Acolyte's Reward up.
Yeah,
So...
do it.
I mean, it's almost like... we want him to do something here. Otherwise, we just pass the turn doing nothing.
Well, no, we would attack with leader.
Okay, so...
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking.
Well, then we just put...
Just do a 2-for-1 Acolyte's Reward.
Yeah, like target here and here. No, wait. Prevent the...
Can we do that whole sham again? No, we don't want to do that.
Yeah, we can.
He hits
prevent
3.
Prevent the next 3. Target him for 3. He pumps up to 4-3.
Yeah, we only kill one guy.
No, he's 4-3. He gets both.
Oh, you're right. It says 1 toughness. Oh, yeah. Hey.
So it's really gonna be 1, 2, 3 damage, and this guy stays alive.
Yeah. God, Acolyte's Reward. Doing some work. Shooting the Phalanx Leader over and over and just crushing. I mean, it's really like a 2.5 for 1, right?
It's pretty good.
He's got to take a second to say, what the fuck just happened?
Yeah. I think when most people read Acolyte's Reward, they weren't thinking, I'm gonna ping my own Phalanx Leader or Wingsteed Rider or something to make them...
You know what, dude? Let's just win this game with 2 planes. I don't care. We don't need more than 2 planes.
We did?
Yeah!
Yeah.
2 planes. No more lands needed.
Yeah. That's all you need.
You know what? Do it. 11 land. Throw in every red and white card we got. We're running 11 land. We don't need more than 2.
That Acolyte's Reward, like, seriously was the biggest blowout there. Because he was like, oh, I'll just double block and I'll be in good shape.
That was a concession of shame, by the way. Like, he's at 4 cards. He has 5 in hand. He knows that we have 2 excoriates that we can't play. And we clearly can't play anything else. Come on. You can't play another turn to see where it goes.
I will take the concession.
Spoolinator.
Spoolinator. We
Possible.
would have...
Well, we could have
We
played
would've
Wingsteed.
Yeah, we
in
would've
2
played...
turns.
Oh, and a Laguna Band.
Yeah, alright.
Yeah, we would have got there. Based on that, I don't think we want to change anything. I mean, I don't know, maybe we don't want 2 excoriates, but I still think based on all this stuff he's got, like, we want to... Like, he's got to respect it now anyway. Like...
Well, now that he respects it,
yeah.
we remove it.
Yeah. That's next level thinking. Or we keep it in because it's actually, like, our answer to a couple of his things.
Oh! He thinks that we're going to remove it
Yeah.
in response to him expecting it.
Yeah, so we keep it in. That's, like...
But, maybe...
Yeah.
Alright.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't know if we need both, but I think we should keep 1 because he definitely wants to suit up guys.
We definitely keep 1. 2, we saw the problem with 2, is that...
Right, we don't really want to draw it.
If we draw both in our opener.
You only need 2 planes.
I would cut 1. I really would.
For what?
A thread. Give me a thread.
Like, Spear Point? Spear Point seems
Yeah, sure.
pretty okay, I think. Alright, let's run that. Alright, we're back for the game 3.
Excoriate.
Well...
Draw this card in your opening hand every single game.
The subtext. You think you should aggressively mulligan. What do you think? We have a 2-drop, we have a bestower if we hit a mountain, and we have a way to remove something good. But we're kind of slow. We're Phalanx leaderless. We have no leader.
Gosh, why do they give us borderline hands every game?
He mulliganed to 6.
Yeah, we're on the draw. We have a 2-drop. 2-drop makes this hand decent no matter what we do.
Let's keep it.
I know that you prefer keeping. You always play control. I go back and forth. Control, mid-range, aggro.
I will defer to your expertise here and the aggro type of deck. Do you want to keep this or do you want to mulligan this? You call it. Lucky Draw's call of the night. Because the first time you were wrong, we won. But
I was not wrong. We won despite
we still
not playing our 5 red cards for the first 6 turns.
I saw that coming.
All right, let's keep it. Keep it.
You sure?
No, mulligan.
Mulligan?
Keep it. Jeez.
All right. 2-drop for the win. If this guy swings a couple times and gets in with like a 2-4 point life swing, is actually not bad.
No, yeah.
I actually think this guy's pretty reasonable. He's a traveling philosopher who hooks you up with some life. He mulliganed to 5, by the way.
Oh.
That is like the worst card to possibly draw. Name a card, not as bad as that. I guess Evangel's pretty bad. Damn it, I probably just did it.
No, I'd prefer Evangel there.
Arena Athlete.
Athlete.
Doesn't really seem to fit in his deck very well, but okay. Alright. That's also not...
Red card's not good.
All we need is a mountain. Should we have gone, like, 9-7? I think you should be able to draw...
I don't think so.
You should be able to draw a mountain.
Well, the problem is we keep getting these hands with multiple red cards.
I say do not block here. How do you feel about that?
I don't know. We want to lengthen this game, right?
Yeah, but I mean... I guess even Titan Strength doesn't get us here.
Because we're not... Well...
But I would say if he doesn't have a play...
Are we able to attack in?
I mean, if he doesn't play anything, I think we have to attack.
Well, yeah, but what do we think about that? I guess he attacks anyway, so yeah, take it.
I think we take it. We'll see what happens. If not, we take 2, and next turn we...
Pass. Oh. Triple red. Spear point.
Alright. Well... Hey! We can make our guy 3-3, or we can leave open... I think we just make our guy 3-3.
Ooh.
When he untaps, we gain 2 life. Or do we just leave this open? I mean, 3-3 is pretty good. We gain 2 when he untaps. How many times is he going to do that?
I mean, he could have Titan Strength or something. I have to think that he just did this because he knew he could block with a 2-3.
I think we play it.
Yep. Besides, we got God's Willing backup.
Totally do.
As far as he knows. Think a long time if he blocks. And then let our guy die.
Alright, so, I mean, he swings back for 4, but we do gain 2. And if he doesn't draw a swamp, we can just stay back and block this guy. I mean, I guess we could have
could also excoriate anything.
That's also true. Of course, I don't know that I want to excoriate either of these guys.
If he has triple mountain and nothing else, I would.
I mean, we win the race, right?
I guess. Not if we keep drawing lands. Well, attack him. Oh, I guess his ability later in the game to regenerate the Minotaur doesn't affect excoriate.
It does not. I think we just go just pass for now. I mean, it's not doing anything isn't great, but we're taking 4, gaining 2, dealing 3. It's not great.
All right. Okay. He might play Bestow.
I mean, if he plays a Bestow, he still gets it back when you exile the other guy, right? So it's not like exactly 2 for 1-ing.
No, but if we excoriate one and he bestows the other, we might be in trouble.
And the other thing we can do is not attack and block here since he has no way to regenerate this guy.
Why would we do that?
Still attack, do you think? Or do you think we should leave this guy back to just kill this
No,
guy?
I like the way that we're winning the race.
Okay. I think the Sun Guide's pretty good. I mean, Traveling Philosopher in this format's, like, reasonable, and he's just strictly better than that. Like, 100% better. Like, same exact casting cost, same everything, just with an upside. Yeah, that's pretty good.
It's good. Solid dude. Oh, really? Take it.
So he's got some black cards in hand.
Now I would... Oh,
You
never
would
mind.
bestow a Spear Point over yet?
Yeah.
I mean, if he plays like a Lightning Strike or
We
something,
still get
like,
a guy.
I think you totally have to do this.
Don't do it.
If he had a Lightning Strike, this guy would have been struck.
Yeah, no, we'd have to pull it. So it's a 1-dot draw set.
Alright, so here it is.
Kaboom!
Boom goes the dynamite, as the kids say these days. I have my finger on the pulse of
Clearly.
of
Hey, we went 2-1.
we went 2-1. Could have been worse.
We should have won the first match.
I think the first match deck was the worst deck we played. So
I agree with that.
so
I mean, black-red aggro is not... I'm even kind of an aggro player. I prefer mid-range, but I'll go aggro. And I don't really like black-red aggro in Theros.
yeah.
I don't know about with the new set, so I'm not 100% sold on this deck, but it had good cards.
Yeah. I think ours was okay. Let's talk about some of the new cards.
Sure.
See how we felt about some of the stuff that we saw or some of the stuff that we played with. I mean, the Sun Guide, we were talking about him already. I mean, he's not amazing, but he's a Grizzly Bear or Traveling Philosopher, whatever you want to call him, with upside.
Yeah, and like you said,
No
usually when you're playing a white aggressive deck, which is usually, if you're playing white, you're playing an aggressive heroic deck.
Right.
Because what else are you playing?
Yeah, I agree. We can play some sort of like mid-range blue-white heroic with some Voyage's Ends and Cryptides or something. Like
Yeah, blue-white I think is the best, or blue is the best partner with white.
I mean, I'm biased. I like playing blue. Like, even when I play my standard decks, I almost always play some sort of blue control deck. So, in drafts, I tend to lean towards blue, and in Theros, I ended up blue-black a lot. You know, with varying degrees of success. But, I mean, as you're saying, like, you know, he's a 2-2, which you want to play, 2-2 for 2, which is easy to cast, which you want to play in some sort of an aggro deck. And then just the fact that if you untap him one time, you're gaining 2 life. I mean, it's just a 2-2 for 2, but with no downside and all upside.
Yeah, no, Valley Bears are always nice.
Yeah.
You ended up playing Traveling Philosopher a lot in any white deck that you played in Triple Theros, so
And there's no
a strict upgrade is always nice.
So, I mean, again, it's just a 2-2 common, nothing to probably pick
What do
too
we-
highly, but...
What do we think about Excoriate?
I think Excoriate's an interesting one, and I would say that I probably wouldn't take it super highly. Like, I mean, I guess it depends on the deck you're playing, but like you said, most white decks are probably kind of heroic. Most white decks are probably trying to be fairly aggressive. So in that kind of a deck, Excoriate's not amazing because that's just not what you're trying to do. You're not trying to use your turn to do that. But at the same time, you don't have a lot of removal in that kind of a deck. And blue-white you do, because you can run a Voyage's End or a Griptide, I guess.
Not real removal, but
Yeah,
close enough.
But Excoriate lets you exile too, which, I mean, in draft is probably not super relevant, but it does get rid of gods and things if you end up against some sort of big bomby creature like a Thassa or something that's actually banging in for damage. You actually can get rid of it. I mean,
Plays around Necrobite.
it does. And I mean, it just, I mean, the fact that you can't play it until their creature's tapped is obviously not amazing. You have to
Yeah, I mean, that's how I felt, that we were playing 2, and it always felt right to me that we would play 1.
Yeah. Well, we've started with 1, and then we just sideboarded in a second one a couple times.
Yeah, and we tried it out, and I'm fine with that. I think, especially when a format's new, you want to be experimenting more and trying more things out.
I agree.
I would say that I feel right now like 1 Excoriate is the number that I would want.
I think that's probably correct.
It's kind of like in those blue-black control decks, you always felt like 1 Sip of Hemlock was great, 2 was kind of pushing it, but you would play it.
Yeah, I mean, depending on your deck, like, I wouldn't mind playing 2, but, I mean, you don't want to have too many 6-drops, and the fact that it's a sorcery, I mean, you're waiting till 6, you're trying to get there, your opponent keeps developing their board, and sometimes, like, you finally get rid of their big threat, but they've put 3 or 4 other threats out there, and you're just like, okay, you know.
Right, and the good thing about SIP was it just said destroy creature, not conditional depending on this situation or that situation, just destroy creature.
Well, I mean, I think if you're just comparing SIP with Excoriate, I mean, SIP's a better card. Like.
Yeah, but what I mean is, whether you want 1 or 2 in your deck, I think it's pretty close, and, you know, because white doesn't have removal, you have to give serious consideration to running 2. But right now, I feel like 1 would be the amount that I would want to play.
I think that's probably correct for most decks. I mean, there's Divine Verdict, there's a couple other 4-drops that are removal in white, but not a ton. And especially, I mean, in white-red, I mean, you have, like we were talking earlier, you have Magma Jets, you have Lightning Strikes, none of which we saw. You have Rage of Perforos, which is just strictly worse than those, I think.
Divine Verdict's an interesting comparison, since that's the same cost. They don't have to tab, but they sort of do. I mean, you can do it on a blocker.
You can do it on a blocker. I mean,
that's always nice when you have open mana and they don't, preferably.
Yeah. And I mean, the fact that you can attack in, like you said, into something big, and I mean, you can bluff it, but just the fact that you can attack in and say, like, okay, you have a Death Touch guy.
I think. What would you say? Excoriate compares slightly worse than Divine Verdict? About the same?
I would say it's worse. I think it's worse than Divine Verdict, because for a creature to be tapped, it has to have already attacked you or done something that made it tap, which, 90% of the time is going to be attacking you. And at that point, if it's attacking you, it's probably going to keep attacking you. So Divine Verdict is probably going to get that anyway. There's a few situations where exiling is going to be better than destroying, but it's in draft, or in any kind of limited format, I don't think it's going to be that often. So I think Divine Verdict's a strictly better card than Excoriate, almost all the time.
I agree with that. Other cards, Skyguard, we didn't get to play it a whole lot. I would have liked it more.
Yeah. I mean, I would say,
good guy.
Yeah, no, I think it's good. I think if you were, say, on a rating scale of 1 to 10, in this kind of a deck where you're trying to target guys with heroic, you would say Wingsteed Rider's maybe an 8 or a 9 on a scale of 10. Phalanx Leader maybe is a couple better. Maybe Wingsteed's a 7 or an 8. Maybe
I'd give it an 8.
Phalanx Leader maybe a 9 or a 10. I don't know.
What? I don't know. I think Phalanx Leader versus Wingsteed is a tough choice.
You think they're about the same? Okay, I mean, but they're both very good.
Yeah.
I would say that, okay, if Wingsteed's an 8, maybe a Chrome Skyguard's a 6.5 or so.
I'd give it a 7 at least. I mean, I don't know. I think there's even an argument to make Skyguard versus Wingsteed just because of that casting cost. I think that the +1. I think you're right. I think the +1/+1 does make Wingsteed a grade better.
I think it is.
For the extra mana.
I mean, here's the thing about Wingsteed. It's harder to cast, but, I mean, a Windrake is never a bad card. A 2/2 flyer for 3 is not a bad card. So Wingsteed Rider, other than being a little bit more difficult to cast, is a good card, even if you can't trigger it.
Skyguard's more combo dependent.
Yeah, I mean, if you said, okay, you can have a 1/1 flyer for 2, like a Cavalry Pegasus without the heroic trigger, you would say, I don't want to play a 1/1 flyer for 2. So that card is not that good without the trigger.
True.
I mean, obviously in this kind of a deck, you're trying to trigger it a bunch, so it's way better than a 1/1 flyer for 2. Obviously. But I don't think it's as good as Wingsteed Rider, which is good by itself. Even just a 2/2 flyer for 3 is pretty reasonable if you don't target it.
Kind of like what we saw in that match 1 with the green 1/1 for 3 that gets
the Citizen
2+1
counter. It's called Citizen something or other.
Instead of the Theros version 2/2 for 4 that gets 2+1 counters.
Right.
I think you just prefer the 2/2 for 4.
I think so, and plus when you target it and it gets to a 4/4, it outclasses a lot of 3/3s, which are in the format, like your Nylea's Disciple and things like that. That are good cards. I mean, 3/3 for 3 or 3/3 for 4 is a pretty reasonable card. But I think
I agree. Getting that +1 to begin with makes up for it.
Yeah,
but we still think it's probably a 7. It's a good card. You definitely want it.
I definitely.
I mean,
I would take it. Yeah, I would take it highly. I would take as many across.
By the way, man, how highly do we take that Acolyte's Reward? That thing was a blowout.
That thing was really
times.
good. I mean, I had a feeling it was going to be very good, and I think we took it second pick.
We do have to say that the format's fairly new, so no one played around it.
No one did. And everyone seemed pretty shocked by the fact that we targeted our own guy.
We did get the 30-second hesitation after playing it every time, like, wait, what? What did you just do? What the hell just happened?
Even if we hadn't been able to target our own heroic guy, which of course gives it a ton of extra value in those situations, but even if we hadn't been able to do that, it's still a good card. Like, the fact that you can, even if you just say, okay, I'm gonna stop your damage, shoot you to the face, or I'm gonna stop your damage, take care of your other creature who didn't even block,
No, it says 2 for 1 your opponent.
Yeah.
That's what the text reads.
Yeah, sometimes it says
3 for 1.
Blowout.
Yeah.
Like, absolute blowout. Like, there was that time that our guy got double blocked, and the guy and he just conceded.
Which whenever you double block a heroic deck attacking with open mana,
it's not what
you're kind of asking for it.
That's not where you want to be.
Yeah.
But I mean, that was just an absolute blowout. Like, okay, you double block.
Just for anyone out there, Disciple of Phoenix, I got to see half of your hand.
Yeah.
Yeah, the other half that I didn't show you, those are the ones that are going to blow you out.
Yeah.
So
right. I mean, there's a reason we showed you the cards we showed you. When I play a lot of heavy black decks, I try to hold Disciple of Phoenix till I can see the whole hand.
The value of getting those last 2 cards is so huge. Sometimes you can't.
No, sometimes you can't. Sometimes you need the 1/3 black, but a 1/3 for 4 is not doing you much good. So you really, that's the big strength of it is you add duress to it basically, or you add Thoughtseize to it really.
Yeah.
And that's what you're trying to do.
So, but I would say even after the format ages and people see it, I think it's still going to be tough to play around it, because even if you know what's in our hand, what are you going to do?
Yeah, I think exactly. You're going to not block.
You're
going to not attack.
Man, that card's probably a 7. I mean, we do have to acknowledge that there are times that you don't have white permanents in play.
It'll sometimes be a stone cold blink.
And our deck was heavy white.
Very heavy white. And there were a couple times that didn't do anything for us, and we have a very heavy white deck.
Yes.
So you have to.
So if you're blue-white, heavy blue.
Yeah.
Yeah, Acolyte's Reward is not going to be great for talking about Acolyte's Reward.
Okay, yeah. So our video stopped for a sec because it was the end of the game, but we're going to wrap it up. But Acolyte's Reward, situational, but sometimes just a huge blowout.
I think the upside is so big that you gotta. If you think that, and you have to take it in the first pack right now.
Yeah.
So you don't know if you're going to be heavy white, but
that is a drawback.
So I may not take it top 3, but if I'm already going towards the white path, I would definitely take that one and be happy.
And I took it second pick.
Well, that's kind of early.
No, it is early, and that might have been a mistake, even though it was very good for us. It very well could be that you want to wait and see that 5th pick.
Yeah.
You see that 4th or 5th pick, and you think, okay, maybe.
It wouldn't have wheeled though.
No, I don't think. I mean, it's possible in this.
And for how good it was for us, I don't know that was a mistake.
No,
second pick.
I mean, it's possible in these pre-release Swisses, people don't know what's good, so maybe it would wheel, and people would be like, oh, I don't know, but I don't think so.
That card should never wheel.
That card is good. I would say if you see that 3rd or 4th pick, it probably means white's going to be maybe kind of open.
Yeah.
And it does. The thing is, you do have to be sort of heavy white, but you don't have to be that heavy white, because really, if you can reroute 2 or 3 damage, just 2 or 3.
I would say 2 is the minimum.
Yeah, I mean, but 2 a lot of times is going to be enough to get you your blowout. Especially, it's.
I mean, at 2, it's at least a 1 for 1.
Yeah. And, I mean...
And might be a 2 for 1 anyway.
Sometimes you might even want it to be less. You might want to say, okay, I want to do 1 damage or 2
To
damage.
my Phalanx Leader?
Yeah, 1 damage to my Phalanx Leader.
Yeah.
2 damage to my
That
Winston.
interaction was pretty gross.
And the thing is that your guy gets triggered before the damage gets dealt. So you trigger your Wingsteed Rider even at 2 damage. He lives through that.
Yeah.
I mean, you can get pinged by some nonsense spark jolt or something. Like, you know, I mean, there's some ways you could have that backfire on you, for sure. But they're pretty few and far between. Like...
Yeah. Anyway, people have listened to us for a long time. So, Acolytes Reward, anything else?
Well, we saw Rise of the Challenge there, which is +2/+0 on first strike. I would say that I actually think it's better in this format than you would normally give it credit for.
Yeah, you know, I saw that one, and I remember playing it in M14. I was like, you know, it was a pretty... It was a 24th card in M14. Like,
Yeah.
I'll play it if I have to, but I'm not happy about it.
Yeah, but
it's much better.
I would say it's much stronger in this kind of
because
attack,
of the heroic.
Like, there wasn't really ever a time we had that in our hand where I thought, like, oh, what a janky card. Like, it almost, especially with, like, the Winged Steeds and the Phalanx Leader, it was almost like, I can attack into anything.
And with all the Voltron creatures, first strike to nerf whatever they pumped it up to, maybe.
No, I think the first strike is what makes that good. I mean, is it better than Titan Strength? Maybe it depends on the deck. I mean, maybe
Gosh, I think they're comparable.
In this deck, I would say they're comparable. It might even be better. I mean, I don't know about that.
Scry 1 is pretty nice.
Scry is pretty good, but the +3/+1... +3/+1 or +2/+0 first strike. First strike's a pretty big game when you're talking about, like, you know, Wingsteed Riders attacking into 4/4s. Or, like,
especially
you know,
an aggro red X attack deck.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you're talking about a deck with Heroic, where you're triggering guys and doing stuff. But, I mean, that first strike's pretty big. Like, especially because there's not a ton of instant removal in this format. I mean, you have Farika's Cures, you have, you know, the Magma Jets Lightning Bolts. Not Lightning Bolt. Is it Lightning Bolt? Yeah. The
Strike.
Lightning Strike. Lightning Bolt's an old school card. Lightning Strike. I mean, there's
they make it cost 2 now.
Yeah, there's a few of them, but I mean, the fact that you can get your guy first strike, I think it's better than the +1 on defense, like that.
Yeah, the +1. Yeah, I mean, it matters situationally.
But the Scry is good.
I think they're comparable.
Yeah,
they each have their situations.
I would say in an average red X, like red-green deck, or red something deck that's not heroic, I would say, yes, Titan Strength is better. But if you're talking about heroic decks where you're playing the kind of deck we have, I would say that Rise of the Challenge was actually pretty good.
No, I think it's right on par with Titan Strength, which I liked already.
Yeah, I think Titan Strength's really good.
Anything else?
We saw the guy who played the white creature that's a 3/3 flyer for 5 with Tribute 2. Where you make him a 5/5 flyer, a 3/3 with 2 1/1s.
Yeah, that seemed good.
It wasn't great against us because we had a plan for it based on what we had. We had like the
which has been the negative of Tribute.
Right, we talked about that earlier during the draft part.
Oh wait, you just let my guy be a 5/5. You must have a way to deal with my guy.
Right, exactly. But I still think either a 5/5 for 5, 5/5 flyer for 5, or a 3/3 and 2 1/1s. I think that's probably one of the better Tribute cards.
Yeah, no, I mean, a 5/5 flyer for 5, just 5 flying power for 5 is kind of insane.
I agree. And if we didn't have a way to deal with that, we would have been really screwed. We just happened to have I think it was the Akroan Phalanx, actually, or whatever it's called, the Akroan, the 1/1 flyer, Wingsteed Rider type guy. Akroan, not Phalanx, Akroan Skyguard.
Yeah, Akroan Phalanx is a new card that we really didn't get to experience.
We didn't get to play too much. I mean, we cast it once or twice. We had it in our hand a couple times. I still think it's pretty good. I mean, in this kind of a deck... I
don't know. It seemed like it should be good in exactly this kind of deck.
Yeah. It just...
I do think one thing that... And a reason why I said I think Phalanx Leader versus Wingsteed Rider is close is, like, yeah, pumping your whole team is nice, but... A lot of times, guys get picked off, guys trade, and you're just left with 1 or 2 guys anyway.
Yeah, you have
so
a lot
team
of guys.
pump is, you know, situational as well.
It is. No, it is. I mean, having team pump in a deck full of not a lot of creatures.
Hill Giant that's vigilant and has an extra pump ability that does trigger your whole team. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, and I think maybe, hey, I got Brimaz Avatar. I wonder if that's worth 40. Probably not. I think that, you know, Actually, I don't remember what I was saying.
A Crow and Phalanx?
Oh yeah, Crow and Phalanx. I think like you would never cut it. I think
No.
but I don't know that I would pick it super highly. I mean, in a deck that
especially we even ended up red white, and
Yeah.
a lot of times we're like, man, do we want to cast this?
yeah, and I mean I think the problem for it is that a 3/3 vigilance for 4 in a white deck that can't trigger it is still reasonable. Like I would play it, but you figure in a red white deck you're trying to be probably pretty heroic, like we were.
And you just want cheaper guys or
You want
pumps.
cheaper guys, and you want more heroic targets. So,
really, that was the biggest problem to me for the 4-mana exile a tapped creature spell. It was like, it's not a heroic guy and it's not a pump.
yeah,
And we want a critical mass of both.
it doesn't go super good with what you're trying to do. Super well with what you're trying to do. Because you're trying to be super aggressive and you're trying to target your guys, and maybe we shouldn't have played them. Like maybe we shouldn't have played any Excoriate in that kind of a deck. It's hard for me to take out removal because I feel like you got to have an answer to something big. Like
You're also the biggest removal lover I know.
Removal, man. You gotta love removal. You play a blue-white.
You want to kill their guys.
You play a blue-white control deck in Standard. You like removal. But no, I do. I pick removal very
Faded
highly.
Retribution is the card for you.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I saw people talking about playing like one of those in a blue-white Standard deck. I'm not super sold on that yet. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. So I don't know the answer to that. Would I rather have played like another ordeal over an Excoriate? I think probably. Like, yeah, I think yes. Like if you said, would you rather play even an ordeal of Heliod, not even an ordeal of Perforos? Like, you would say,
ordeal, of course.
Yeah, you would play that over the removal of an Excoriate.
And we probably talked enough after the end of the draft. Eh?
Well, I figured people didn't want to hear a way to say they would have already shut this video down a long time ago.
They have.
Yeah,
the last two guys are like, God, when are these guys going to shut up?
Yeah, so we'll shut it down. Let's see. These are the cards we opened here. Anything we played? We didn't play the Impetuous Sunchaser. I think that's a janky card. That's why we didn't play it. We've got a 2/4 Pillar Field Ox.
Elmer.
Pretty sweet, yeah. Anything else? I think the Nyxborn Rollicker. We didn't really get a chance to play him that much, but I think in this kind of deck, if we would have had to, the one time we played him, he was good.
Sheep is still good.
Yeah, Cheap is still good in your heroic deck. We did not play the Faragax Giant. I'm not super sure about him. I mean, I would say maybe like 23rd type card. Maybe if you need some beefy guys, he's not terrible, but not in the deck we're trying to run here. And I guess that rounds it out. So I'll be bringing you guys some more draft videos. Thanks for being patient with me. It's been a while since I've done some. Picked up a couple subscribers in the meantime. I do appreciate it. If you're enjoying the content, rate and subscribe and such. Say hello to me or Lucky Draw. Mostly Lucky Draw, I guess. On Magic Online. We'll be on.
One person has said hello to me on MTGO from a video.
You're famous.
He will never let me live it down.
You are famous. I know I said before I was going to do some Standard. I don't know. We'll see. I may just sell off my blue-white deck. Hey, pick one, pack one. So there you go. We'll see you next time, and I hope you enjoyed the videos, and we'll figure out the format as we go. Thanks for watching.